Next on Ghost Nation.
It gets crazy in here. We've lost some great clients that have been clients of mine for 20 years.
I felt a child's hand run across the top of my head. There was a warm, sharp feeling across my abdomen. It was extremely frightening.
What is going on? Why is there so much activity in this building?
There were some deaths on the property.
All right, that was a voice.
Yeah.
I heard that.
I heard that.
All right, Steve and Tango, thank you so much for joining us here on the Creepcast during our favorite time of year. Of course, that's Ghostober, right? So we really appreciate that. And we got new episodes of Ghost Nation. They're kicking off October 17th at 9 o'clock Eastern on the Travel Channel. So we were able to get a sneak peek of that. Evil Inc., Reunion in Hell. We watched those. And I think the first question I have will be for Steve. And that is, have you ever laid on a cot before? Or was this the first time?
You know, for that, yeah, for the Halloween special, I did fall. Yeah,
It was an unexpected highlight of the episode for me. I apologize, but
my favorite part is when you just see Jay sort of, you know, in his hammock, like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" And I'm falling out of the cot. Yeah.
So yeah, people will get to experience that there on Reunion in Hell. But I wanted to start off here with something that I love about Ghost Nation is I feel like you kind of took Ghost Hunters, which I loved, and reinvented it a little bit. It plays out more like a documentary series to me, with kind of the cutaways of the buildings and just the way it's shot. And I love that. So with that being said, what do you think is the biggest difference or evolution that you've had in the show throughout all these years?
Well, that's a great observation. With Ghost Nation, you know, our previous work was very much the pursuit of the best piece of paranormal evidence, you know, the what's going to change people's mind, what's going to blow people away. We were still helping people, but it was, you know, it was a preliminary investigation is what you saw. You know, you saw a preliminary investigation, and we went in for a day or two and had to leave as quickly as we got there. With Ghost Nation, we're seeing all the cases through to fruition, which may be one of the reasons it has that grander feel to it. It's kind of a mix of history, true crime, and paranormal. We do a lot of research, but the fact that we're able to take cases from the beginning in terms of when we get them through to fruition, you know, to a resolution is very valuable. You know, when we leave, we're helping people and leaving them in a better situation than before we got there. And with our previous work, that wasn't always the case, but it is with Ghost Nation. And that honestly comes from the network, allowing us to take the amount of time that's necessary and believing in what we do enough to give us those liberties. You know, they've been fantastic. Travel Channel has been the best home that we could ask for. And as a fan of the paranormal, I think paranormal enthusiasts and fans of people who just want to go on the adventure of a paranormal investigation, the show really speaks to them. And it wouldn't be without travel, you know, that we have this platform. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And kind of like what Steve said, it's, you know, seeing the faces when you first get to the homeowner's house or the, you know, the business owner, seeing how they're kind of, you see the fear in their eyes. You know, they are afraid of what's happening, and then leaving the house or business and seeing how the relief in their faces and in their eyes. That knowing that we are actually helping people. And I say this a lot, it's really the motivation for me personally, and I know for Steve and Jason as well, to you know, keep doing what we're doing, you know, doing that research, really finding out what is here, what's happening. And that is, for me, the biggest change from before and to now.
Yeah, that's really cool to see where you guys were and where you've come.
Right.
Yeah, and to bring up the research, I mean, a ghost story is a story, and I don't think before we were getting one part of the story, and a really narrow one, but I really will commend, Travel Channel and you all for, I mean, you've been through it from the beginning and seen this whole pop culture thing blow up, but to really take it back and to say, okay, we got to tell the story. Where can we say that can we pinpoint this person in history to this place, or find out something new? For both of you, does that kind of the research side of that, does that come from a background, family and police, for that investigation side of it? Has it always been something that you love to do, or is that something that really it kind of sparked it?
And I would say so. You touched on it with our family. Like Steve was a police officer. My brother and my father are police officers, and just kind of having that analytical mind. Just the search for the truth, find out what is really happening. I should say it came from my dad. Him kind of teaching me when I was young. But being able to really do what we've always wanted to do, and now we're able to do it with Travel Channel, makes the hugest difference in the world.
For me, the research has become very, very valuable, because when we do this solid research, we end up changing history for a lot of places, and it goes into their lexicon. And when you go to Seaview Terrace, these places that the history is in the history books, it's in the newspapers, and we actually change that by doing solid research. We've actually had historians and organizations and buildings and properties say, wow, how did we not know this? Like, this is, and we really get deeds and records and death certificates. And, you keep saying that Charlie the ghost is, but no such thing as Charlie. He never died. Like, we're able to really, we didn't want to, travel down roads that we didn't need to travel down. We wanted to just take the truth and try, and that comes through the research. But I will say, and I don't mean to say this, but Travel Channel, and I hate to keep saying that they're the ones, but it's just true. They told us whatever you guys need to do to get your investigations done. And I'll give you a quick example. Our season, opener of season 2 wasn't supposed to be a 2-hour episode. It was a normal investigation, but being able to follow all of these leads and investigating the way we wanted to and do the research, we realized we needed a lot more time there. And Travel Channel said, whatever you guys, if you need more time, you're there for another week. Get to the bottom of it. Whereas in our previous work, they would have been like, okay, but that's not part of the story we're following, so move on, fellas. You need to stay within the confines of the structure of this television show here. Where this is like, oh, you think that's relevant to the investigation? If it keeps us there another week, which is, let's face it, a tremendous expense that a network isn't just going to go, go for it, fellas. But they do. They say, take whatever time you need. We believe in what you're doing, and we're here to support you. And we had never had that before. Sci-fi was good to us, of course, but still you had a confined format you had to stick to. And we had never experienced anybody saying to us, how you investigate is important to us. And if you feel that this is where the case should go to help these people, we support you. It's never happened to us before. So it's a new world for us, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just learning that 2 hours, that wasn't necessarily supposed to be 2 hours.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that episode alone had me from beginning till end, and going all through the town, not just the home, but working with police, working with different historians, all of that. I loved that larger picture that it gave. So good on you, and good on Travel Channel for.
Thank you. And that's an isolated incident. That's happened a few times. When you see a 2-hour episode on our show, it's literally because we can't leave. If we leave now, we're not helping anybody. We're actually making things worse. We can't leave. And they say, you're right, stay, do what you need to do. And it happens organically and unfolds right before us, as it does the viewer. It's an adventure. It really is. And it hadn't been that way before. So that, to me, would probably be the major difference between our previous work and this work is, the self-fulfillment as an investigator. And the fact of knowing that the audience is getting, a pretty realistic depiction of what a paranormal investigation is really like.
You're going along the ride with us as it happens in real time, basically, and that's pretty awesome. I think for the viewers as well.
Yeah, it's great to have a partner like that to be able to tell the whole story as it's supposed to be told. I wanted to bring up the Evil Inc. episode, the tattoo shop specifically, as a big part of it that you guys investigate. And when you walk in, you see it's antiques and oddities, which is just an awesome place. We have one here in our hometown, and I love those stores. They're so interesting to go into. Steve, you brought up it kind of looks like your house, and the backdrop here is pretty cool. There's not a lot of oddities in it right now, but you did mention that. So I'm curious, is there a specific antique? There we go. Is there a
they're all
specific
around me.
Antique or oddity that you own that is most interesting to you or prized possession? And could you talk about that?
Yeah, there are a few. I have some really interesting things. As you see, it may sound a little macabre, but that's a real human skull. I have a lot of those around me. But I think my prized possession isn't an oddity. It's an antique. It happened on Ghost Nation, where we had an amazing paranormal experience surrounding a real Civil War sword. So much so that I bought the sword. I had to have it. I said, this is mine. I'm not leaving without it, and worked out a deal with the it was owned by a historical antiques dealer. And I have it. It's right here. If you'll give me a moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember this thing.
Yeah, this is we used it. This is the real sword that was in that episode. We had a proximity sensor attached to it, and through Tango and I, through our procedure, through the techniques we implemented we role played. We put on garments from the era.
Yep.
We used this sword, and we got, at least I think, some pretty definitive proof of the paranormal. If this was a show about oddities and the macabre, I'd show you everything and take you around, but
another podcast, another time, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Like knowing that a ghost touched that sword and you have it, that's pretty awesome. I love that you have it. So, yeah.
I do. It's right here, and I love it. I talk to it, I touch it, I hold it, I yield it. I haven't put it through anyone yet, but
that's
I remember when you came out of the store holding it like this, and like people were like looking at you. You have a full sword coming out on the street. It's like, you gotta protect the day, man. Come on.
I was walking down the street yielding a sword, and people were like, "Hey, man, like that." I'm pretty sure
excited. I get it.
Tackled by someone.
Are you ever scared there's something still attached to something like that?
I think about it sometimes.
Yeah.
I do, but it hasn't happened yet. I would welcome it, but I'm not looking for it, because, and this sounds silly, but I do value sleep and my time, and I like to visit it, but I don't want to be up all night wondering what's gonna slam or move around. It hasn't happened yet, and I feel like I have enough stuff in here that if it did happen, you say that's a 15th century skull from, like, if there's something's gonna already be here maybe, but we don't know what their we don't know what their interpretation of time is, right? It's 10 years here, it could be a second to them, so maybe it just hasn't happened yet. It's always like, it could be coming. It could be coming.
I know we're pretty close against time. Joe, do you have another question?
I was just going to say, well, one of my favorite things, Steve, from the beginning, I mean, I've been with you all, since college through this whole thing, and watched it blow up through popular culture, and glad to see you all back at it, and love that evolution, right, that it's taking. But I'll tell you, Steve, the reason I love both of you as kind of that team up is because you still get scared, dude, like a lot. And it's awesome, because I'm the same way. It's like, I'm not that kid in my, the dark anymore, but I still, that fear and that kind of honest of that comes through, and it really humanizes the show for me. Because after 20 years, you can still get spooked, and
Oh, yeah.
that is it's great.
Thanks, man. That's all, you know, if a door slams in your face, how can you not get, I mean, it's just,
100%.
if you see a dark mass move how are you not going, what is happening? You know, it's just a mixture of, I guess, a bit of a fright, but also excitement, intrigue. We got to figure it out. It's, I mean, Tango and I, we are literally brought to tears through paranormal experiences. Like, you don't know how to explain it, how to process it. You just get so excited, like we tear up, we high five, we need a few minutes to like
know how to function. It's like, what's going on, what's happening in front of me? This doesn't seem like it's real. So what does your brain do? It just always, you know, pistons and levers and gears are starting to fire up that never have fired up before, and you start tearing up because it's like your body and brain doesn't understand what's happening. And that's, I didn't realize that until it started happening to me personally. It's like, oh my God, why am I tearing up? I'm crying right now because I'm having a legit experience, and it's pretty awesome.
Well, that's great. We can't wait to see more of those here on Ghost Nation when the season 2 resumes October 17th, again, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we got that special 2-hour crossover event, Reunion in Hell with Amy and Adam. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We were able to check that out. But Steve, Tango, thanks so much for joining us. Joe and I here on the Creepcast. Hopefully we can catch up with you guys again real soon, and have a great Halloween.
Anytime, guys. Thank you for having us, and keep up the good work.
You too.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.